Hi everybody, this is David Nick Turn, co-founder of True Nature Meditation, and inviting you to join us in exploring mindfulness meditation. True Nature mindfulness meditation is purely classical mindfulness practices. It's been taught and practiced for literally thousands of years on this planet. So the root of it, the origin of it, is the Buddhist teachings and practice. You can actually go back 2,500 years and people were doing this practice. So of course, we've tried to make it completely accessible to a modern person who's living this world out here, and there's a lot of activity and a lot of media and stuff. And so it's kind of just simplifying, leaving yourself some time to be still and come back to the to the practice. So in essence, this is a very pure, very traditional method that's just being communicated in a very contemporary way. The benefit, traditionally we say, is that if you do the mindfulness meditation, that your mind becomes more focused and more clear. And also, it becomes kind of stronger in a way, like you're able to focus, you're able to come back to what you're doing. So there's a kind of mindfulness strength that we talk about, and resilience. And then also the kind of highs and lows and the sort of dramatic quality of life can get more evened out. So there's a kind of stability. So we say clarity, strength, and stability are the benefits. We also have a saying that mindfulness meditation has many benefits, but none at all if you don't actually practice. You know, I feel it's universal, and I feel that anybody could benefit from this practice. It's kind of a foundation practice. It doesn't involve a lot of kind of fancy spiritual footwork of any kind. It's really related to everyday living in a very grounded way. It's not particularly religious or spiritual in any way. So I'm going to say it's good for the whole family. So this is really a message directly to any salary workers, anybody who's working in a corporation in Japan who's interested in mindfulness meditation. And the message is that I think this will be helpful for you. And I know you work in a kind of powerful and intense environment, and so just to take some time during the day to be a little more quiet and get focused, I think will help you be more productive and less stressed out at the job. We're pretty sure about that's going to be a good outcome. And that really there's no sort of envelope of kind of spiritual or religious context. In this case, you can just take this very simple practice and kind of take it to the bank. So that's my thought for you. So for those of you who are interested in mindfulness meditation, here's a simple, concise instruction for how to actually do the practice. First step is to take a good seat either on the floor, on a cushion, kneeling, or on a chair, which is totally fine. And rest your hands on your knees. Take a nice upright posture. Leave your eyes open with a soft downward gaze. The second step is to bring your attention to your breathing as a way of focusing and gathering your mind into one object of attention. So we just feel the breath going in and out of the body at the tip of the nose, or the full cycle of breath throughout the body. We're definitely reducing activity and simplifying our whole situation. When your mind, as it inevitably will, wanders off into some kind of thoughts about your afternoon session or your work life or what you're going to have for dinner, and you find that you're now lost in thoughts, when you notice that, just simply label it thinking and bring your attention back to the breath each time without judging or evaluating. The essence of this practice is just coming back over and over again. There's no attempt to repress your mind or manipulate your breath. It's very ordinary, very natural. Just sit and breathe. And when you're creating a new habit like that, it's considered optimal if you schedule it in sort of the same time every day, if that's possible. That's going to help, but it's not necessary. So even if you miss a day, it's okay, then just come back to it. So we say for our beginning students here at True Nature, we say 10 to 15 minutes a day, 4 or 5 times a week, you'll be underway. I started to do this practice in 1970, which is probably before some people watching were alive, but I was only 22 at the time. And I've been practicing and studying since then, so that's going to be 50 years in 2 years. And I studied with a Tibetan meditation teacher, great teacher. And then he trained us all to teach, so maybe that took 4 or 5 years. So I would say I've been teaching for 40 to 45 years. Interestingly enough, when I started to do this kind of practice, there weren't that many people interested in the United States. But recently, maybe in the last 10 years, there's kind of been a mindfulness wave. And in particular, since the neuroscience started showing that this is really good for your brain and your body and good for your mental health and physical well-being, so that it's backed up by contemporary science. Then it was featured in Time magazine, it was featured on CNN, and so a lot of corporations in America have started mindfulness training programs, as well as sports teams, as well as fitness centers. So it's a pretty widespread trend in the US and the West in general. It's kind of blossomed and flowered. So Japan, I think, is maybe 5 years sort of catching up to that. And of course, typically in Japan, you catch up and then you go past. So we'll have to see what happens. I love Japan. I love the people. I love the culture, Nihon bunka. It's a very beautiful culture. I was interested in it since I'm 15 years old. I used to watch samurai films and listen to gagaku music. I've always been intrigued by Japanese culture. And I love the food. That's the most important part. So the message to Japan is, if I can be of service in any way, I'm happy to be here. And arigatou gozaimashita.